We have a good friend of the kin who's here with us, Greg Kolodko, the former Deputy Prime Minister of Poland and Finance Minister of Poland for many years. In fact, Greg was part of a group called the Round Table, and it was a group of Polish leaders that helped to navigate Poland out of the Soviet bloc into the West. And since then, Greg has been deeply involved, not just in Polish affairs, but global affairs. So I thought it'd be a great idea to ask Dr. Kolodko if you could give just a couple of quick responses or reflections on what you just heard.
I'm glad to be here. So if you are referring to Round Table, which was already 28 years ago, I'm very much surprised where we are in 2017. That was not foreseen that we'll have so many challenges and so many problems, including in our Europe. And I do agree that strong Europe is a good thing for everybody in the world, including US and all over the other countries. But the problem Europe has is the crisis of identity. You must be aware that aside of 28 in the European Union, there is still 15 countries which are definitely European and are not the members of the EU, starting from Russia and Ukraine through Serbia and Turkey and so on. As for Brexit, it's very bad, but it's a peanut against all the challenges we are in Europe, both the British and we in the European Union. We'll manage it, but the problem is, Ivo said something about, he used the notion Northern Europe. I'm from Poland, which used to be East, now it is West, but somebody believes that we are North, and somebody puts us together with the South. So we don't know where we are. We are very much Central European country, maybe the most European country we do have in our continent. But do we belong to so-called East, West, or South, North? It depends, because all the traditional approaches in political sciences, they don't apply. In economic sense, we are the West, but unfortunately, in the political sense, we are not so much West according to the traditional meaning of the word. So there will be the good news and the bad news from Europe, and definitely there is also crisis of ideas, there is crisis of leadership, and there is crisis of strategy. I'm very much with the speakers, Ivo, and I agree with him that we do need a way out. I do agree also with Matthew that there is a kind of confusion, and before we'll find a way out, we have to get rid of this confusion. But I think what is happening both on this and other side of the Atlantic Ocean and elsewhere, this is just rejection of the establishment. We are fed up with establishment. As you have it in US and we do have it in Europe, is it a little bit to left or is it a little bit to right? And this is a very big challenge for both of us, the business people and the academia. In a country like Poland, 70% of us are now against joining the common currency euro, which would be good for business, for household, and for economic growth. So where from this myopia of the people is coming? From the media. Because they don't follow the economists. They follow much more something like The Sun or Bild Zeitung. So there is the great responsibility about how to educate the people what is the escape forward. Because I think there is the solution, but it is neither the neoliberalism which enriches the few at the cost of majority, nor the state capitalism. I'm referring in my books about the future of the world to this escape forward as new pragmatism, presuming that globalization is irreversible. But according to Mrs. Le Pen or Mr. Kaczynski in Poland, or to very many other policymakers and intellectuals, unfortunately, it is reversible. If it is reversible, we will be going in more dire straits year after year, and all this Occupy London, Occupy Wall Street, Tahrir Square in Cairo or Taksim Square in Istanbul, it is just, like a Sunday picnic. There will be a kind of social revolution if there is not a pragmatic way forward. So I'm referring to it as new pragmatism, which must rely on much more inclusive globalization. But here we have to take an active lead in this policy, because it cannot be left just to the policymakers, especially the kind of the policymakers we now have. how it is possible that such a great nation as US has such a...
I think we can leave it at that. Thank you, Greg. We just heard from someone who's been through the transition from Soviet-dominated Poland to reemergence into the global scene, fully integrated. By the way, Poland did not experience a recession during the great global financial meltdown. They're the only country in your major country in Europe that did not experience a recession, partly due to the good work of Greg and his colleagues. I just interviewed Condoleezza Rice a couple weeks ago, and in her great new book, Democracy, I highly recommend it. There's an entire chapter devoted to the Polish transition. Thank you, Greg, for that.